Today, I got something special for you guys. We're going to be building part of this absolutely beautiful login screen. So here's what it's going to look like at the end. We're going to have the sign up where it comes down beautifully like this. And then a sign in screen, we're going to have 3 providers that we're able to use. Like the Twitter one, it's going to log into the Twitter. That's my Twitter. Have a nice loading bar. And we're signed in. So let's get into it. So the reason I said we're only building part of it is because the first part I actually done on my friend Gordon's channel called Fun with Flutter. So links will be in the description, on the card, everywhere, wherever you want, if you want to go check out the first part. This is what we're going to be working with. The cool part is done on his channel. So we're going to be adding 3 providers. So in this video, you'll be able to learn how to add those specific 3 providers, including Apple sign-in and Twitter sign-in, which I haven't done before. And we're going to be doing this using the lit Firebase Auth package that's also created by Fun with Flutter. So this package makes it super simple to create a login screen. You only need like 2 widgets. And then you can also customize it if you really want to something like this. So first I wanted to quickly show you what this package could do. Look how simple it is to set up a login screen. All you have to do is lit auth init, which providers you want. We have email, password, Google, Apple, Twitter. And then you literally just need to call one widget called lit auth, and it creates this whole form for you, and you should be ready to go. He has another video of setting up the basic form. I'll also put that in the description. But for this specific video, we're going to be doing something a little more complex. So there's a lit auth.custom that we're going to be using. And this lets you customize and build beautiful things like the one I showed at the beginning. So let's get back to that. So with those 2 widgets I showed, you can have a complete login screen, but there's also a third widget that's very useful. It's called lit auth state. So this lets you know whether you're authenticated or not. And if you are, send it to one screen. And if you're not, send it to another screen. So here, when we're unauthenticated, we're sending it to a splash screen, which is this one. And if we're signed in, we're sending it to the home screen. And you'll see if you follow to the splash screen, if we have an empty user, we're sent to the auth screen. And in the auth screen, we have our lit auth.custom that I showed off. So in here, there's a bunch of things you could do, customize it any way you want. And all of that is shown off in part 1 of this video. The other thing this package does, it makes adding other providers very simple. That's what we're going to be up to. So in order to use these providers, we need to add in the lit auth init. Google set it to true, Apple true, and Twitter to true. And then email and password are by default set to true, so this isn't really necessary, but just stay consistent, we put it in there. And one thing to remember about this package, it works not just on mobile, but it also works on web, so you can use it on your website as well. So the thing about this package is there's not much building of the actual app we need to do. The tough part comes actually enabling it from the back end. And for that, you will have to do the same thing even if you're not using this package for the 3 providers that we're going to go through. But first, let's get the UI working. So we're going to have a provider button.dart. And it's going to be a stateful widget called provider button. And here we will need a build context since it's using provider as its package. And also a sign-in type. So then in the sign-in screen, there's really not that much code. We're just going to add a text and then a row with 3 buttons. So there we go, we have our 3 buttons. Now in here, we're gonna have a switch case that takes in the sign-in type. And then we'll have a Google case, an Apple case, and a Twitter case. Then for the default, we'll just return a text saying error. Then for the Google, we're gonna return an inkwell, which is very similar to a gesture detector, with a child of container, with a child of lit auth icon.google. So the lit Firebase Auth package provides you all the icons, so you don't need to add any assets or anything, you just use it. Then we'll have some padding here as well, and an alignment. Now the reason you see all this red is because we didn't specify a size. So the icon is here, but it's a little bit messed up because the other ones aren't implemented yet. But let's finish this one. We're going to add a decoration of box decoration, circle, and border. And then one last special thing. Whenever we tap this inkwell, we want to make sure the call to Google happens. So do that by context, sign in with Google, which is provided through the lit Firebase Auth package, and everything is super simple. So now we just need to do this 2 more times. For Apple, with sign in with Apple, and then Apple Black, you have choices of black and white, and then here, sign in with Twitter, and the Twitter icon as well. So there we go. So if you check the actual Apple icon, it's definitely centered, but I think it's an eye trick where it looks a little bit to the right. So what we're gonna do is wrap it in a widget called transform.translate, and we're gonna add an offset of -1 and 0. So now it looks a little bit more centered. And the Twitter icon, it looks a bit smaller than the other ones. I think this will be updated to be a similar size, but if it doesn't get updated, we just do transform.scale and scale it up just a tiny bit. So there we go, our UI is done. Now for the actual hard part, is how do you implement this to work on an iPhone? So all right, let's go through them one by one. First thing you need to do is in Firebase, you need to enable it in the sign-in methods. So we click this, click enable, and save. So for the actual code part, you need to check Google sign-in. This part is not yet added in the lit Firebase Auth package, but it will be added very soon. So if you don't find this part in the lit Firebase Auth package, check the Google sign-in. If you do, then you're good. So what you're going to need to do is in the info.plist, you're going to need to copy paste this stuff. So the CF bundle URL types. So you can go to the iOS info.plist and you'll see CF bundle URL types. And then this string right here need to be copied from your Google Services info.plist, which is right here. And reverse client ID, copy paste that into the info.plist, and Google should be working for you. So let's try it out. So there we go. Google sign-in is working. So now let's work on sign-in with Apple. So for this, you're once again going to need to go to the authentication methods, go to Apple, and then enable. Sign-in with Apple is actually pretty simple. All you need to do is pull up Xcode, go to signing and capabilities, and add a capability called sign in with Apple. And that's it. That should work. So now let me rebuild and try again. And there we go. Apple sign in works just as well. So then the last one is Twitter. Twitter is very similar to Facebook, Microsoft, Yahoo, GitHub, all of them. If you check, they all take a client ID and client secret. Twitter takes a API key and API secret. Yahoo takes a client ID, client secret. Microsoft, application ID, application secret. So they're all very similar. And the way you do it is you need to enable here, and then you can click on Learn More. It'll open a new link. Then let's say we want to add Twitter for iOS. It'll teach you how to go through this. You need to register your app as a developer application on Twitter. Click this. It will lead you to here. You can create an app. I already have an app, but once you create it, you can go into your app settings and you'll see keys and tokens. It'll also display the keys and tokens for you. And then you can view these keys and tokens, copy paste them into here. So let's copy that, paste into here. Seems like they were the same, but just to prove it to you, paste it in there. And then one real specific thing you need to do, there's going to be this third-party authentication. It's going to be disabled by default. You need to click edit, enable it, and add a callback URL. You get this callback URL right here. So you copy this, paste in the callback URL. I pasted it in here as well. Save it, and your Twitter should be up and running and ready to use. So let's try it. I'll ask you to log in if you haven't logged in on the device before, but you saw my name popped up there in the corner. That means I already logged in. And there we go. We're signed in. So creating these buttons was super simple, and as you saw in this video. There's really not that much to it. This package makes it really quick and easy, and we got it done here in like record timing. And you see, you can create beautiful login screens like this. If you're just looking for a simple login screen, you literally only need 2 or 3 widgets potentially. Even the provider buttons are created for you. We just made custom ones here. And you don't even need to bring in any assets into the app either. You already have the icons ready to go. So there we go. That's it. I could show you the email works as well. And you have a fully working login screen that looks like it's done by professionals. So if you haven't checked out the Fun with Flutter channel, you should definitely check it out. It's one of my favorite Flutter channels on YouTube. And I think we built a really beautiful app. So thank you for watching. This code will be on GitHub if you want it. There's a link in the description. If you have any questions or anything, please leave it in the comments. Like, subscribe, and share if you enjoy the video. And thanks for watching.